Hey everyone, it's Goddess Mia Sophia once again back with another MMA drama video. So today we're going to be talking about UFC 296, the one coming up this weekend. It's the last fight of the year. What? But before we get into it, make sure you're liking this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. If you're new here, hello. Glad to have you, and make sure to comment below what your predictions are for who's going to win. Do you think it's going to be Leon Edwards? Do you think it's going to be Colby Covington? I don't know. But anyways, 3 topics I want to cover today. I want to talk about the press conference that just happened with Colby Covington and Leon Edwards and the fight that broke out between them. I want to talk about Paddy Pimblett and his fight against Tony Ferguson. I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't want either of them to win, okay? So we're gonna get into that. And then I also want to talk about going back from our last video, that topic, Ian Garry. So we'll start off with Ian Garry. On Wednesday, Dana announced that Ian Garry was out sick with the flu, and then it turned into pneumonia, so he can't fight. So I guess that makes sense of why he had missed media day and why we hadn't really seen him around. But my theory is that maybe he just couldn't handle the heat that was stirring up in the kitchen surrounding the WAG, his wife, her, all of that. If you want to see more, make sure to check out my last video of his wife basically writing a book into how to become a rich professional athlete's wife or girlfriend, and all the drama surrounding that. So anyways, he called out sick. I guess we're not going to get the fight from him, so I was very nervous that would mean that Tony and Paddy would be the first fight of the main card, but I'm very, very glad that they bumped up Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell, because I think that fight is going to be a banger. I mean, I don't know about you, but I love seeing Josh Emmett fight. I'm rooting for him personally. He's a good guy, good story, likes to swing and bang. Anyways, so that's our first story. Covered it, check. Next up, we have Tony versus Paddy. So I don't know about you, but I don't know who I want to win. I don't think either of them are going to be a good matchup. I mean, first off, we have Paddy on one hand, who he is most known, I guess, for his post-fight weight gain. He is an up-and-coming UFC fighter. He's done pretty well, gotten a lot of hype, gotten some of the day UFC and Dana White especially behind him. But after the fight is over, he gains like 100 pounds back from just gorging himself on all kinds of food. So that's kind of crazy, but he did get into a huge controversy last time, kind of fell from grace. If you want me to do a video on that controversy, let me know in the comments, but we'll just keep it brief right now. He basically had a huge fall from grace, and he hasn't fought in over a year, so this is his first fight coming back after a year off, so I don't know, we'll see how that goes. And then on the other hand, he's fighting Tony Ferguson, and Tony Ferguson, we love him. He's a hero of the sport, I would say. Absolute legend, but he's been on a 6-fight losing streak, okay? So usually people who go on a 6-fight losing streak, they don't stay in the UFC, but he's still in the UFC and actually on the main card. But he's kind of gone off the deep end a little bit. He's had a little too many head injuries, a little too much, I would say, like machismo going on. Here, let me go to my notes. Yeah, so last time he lost to Justin Gaethje, and he suffered huge head trauma in that fight. It was pretty crazy. He's also pretty old, and then at UFC 291, he was choked out. So I don't know, He also, I think it was like in 2018, where he called the cops on his wife because he was having like a mental breakdown. He thought that aliens were coming. He had to take his kids out to the middle of the desert to protect them. It was a whole thing. So I feel like Tony Ferguson, and I feel like a lot of the MMA community agrees that Tony Ferguson should just retire, keep his legacy intact, all of that. But he's still at it. He still wants to fight. So he's got the fighter spirit, which we appreciate, but we're also nervous. Like, obviously, it feels terrible watching a legend of any sort of sport go out in a 6-fight losing streak. I mean, I don't think he is going to last if he's able to, like, if he doesn't win this. But on the other hand, I feel like if he does win this, then it just gives him more precedent to keep fighting and keep having these kind of huge, intense fights. And I think that if he loses, then he's gonna feel like he needs to do another one and still like get his legacy back. So I feel like it's a lose-lose in any situation. Paddy the Baddy himself has said that it's not a good matchup for him. He thinks that it's a lose-lose on his end anyways, but we'll see. Personally, I'm rooting for Tony to win. I think even though he's a huge underdog right now, he's like plus 300 or something, huge underdog, but I'm rooting for him. But I also don't want him to win because it's Tony. We love him, but please, my guy, just retire a little. And this is what Chael said about the fight. He said that Paddy doesn't have a strong punch and Tony is a national wrestling champion. So between Tony and Paddy, he thinks that Tony is going to win, and it's a huge winning bet. I don't know, man. I don't want either of them to win. Okay. Lastly, going to the press conference, our third topic of the video. Everyone was it was a normal press conference. John Anik was hosting it. And then, for whatever reason, Colby Covington stumbles on his words and says, I'll meet you in a level of hair instead of hell. So then he got all flustered. And then he basically said that he'll meet Leon Edwards' father in hell. And it was just so rude, so inappropriate. So then Leon Edwards throws a water bottle at him and hits him, and then a whole fight starts breaking out. But the reason why it's so poignant to Leon Edwards, or why it hurts so much, is because when Leon Edwards, like I mentioned previous in the video, was 13, his dad was shot and killed in a nightclub, out of the blue. And that changed his life trajectory. It turned him to a life of crime, a life of violence. He was, drug dealing, not doing the what's called, just getting stuck in. A kid that's grieving, obviously, with no other avenues to turn to in a rough neighborhood. And then MMA is kind of the thing that saved him. So it was a very rude, inappropriate comment from Colby, but that's this week's drama. I'm super looking forward to the fights this week. Let me know in the comments if you're going to be watching UFC 296. What do you think about Leon Edwards and Colby Covington? What do you think about Paddy and Tony Ferguson? And most importantly, what do you think about Garry? I mean, I think he pulled out because he's a little pussy. Anyways, make sure to hit that bell, like, subscribe, and see you in the next one.